Welcome to HeroQuest fans. We are back. Back on a Friday afternoon. Getting ready to start against the Ogre Horde. I know I said this weekend we were going to have some issues with scheduling. So far, the plan is no stream Saturday, March 22nd, just because of family events. If for some reason we're still able to stream, we'll try to get that out to everybody as soon as possible, but probably no stream tomorrow. However, today, if we've got some heroes tonight, I'd be happy to stream our usual twitch.tv/HeroQuest fans game on against the Ogre Horde here. We're getting ready to start a new quest. So it's been exciting playing these, the remake version of Against the Ogre Horde by Avalon Hill. I just want people to know, if you're watching, and maybe you remember Against the Ogre Horde from 1990, I've made some modifications, some special modifications myself, you might say. But I've done so in consultation with the quest book that they put out, as well as the classic version, as well as some of the modifications fans have made, such as Phoenix's modification. Because, as people who've played it know, it was created with European rules in mind. Which is kind of interesting because, as you know, there were two different versions of the original HeroQuest. The 1989 first edition, and then the second edition the following year, which changed things a bit. And then Avalon Hill was tasked with the process of, after all these years, converting that original version, which was compatible with first or second edition, to the North American rules. And so there were some interesting things, the way like traps work, with the higher body points of a lot of the monsters, and then are the ogres still going to be seen as a threatening challenge compared to those stronger monsters and so forth. So it's interesting. So we played through the arena modes, the tournaments that went before that, and then now we've got into the quest proper. And honestly, I have played some of these quests before with a group. This is long before we did the online quests, the remote adventures with a virtual desktop. I did, let's see, I think it was the first 4. We might have started the 5th quest, but then we didn't get any further than that. So there's definitely uncharted territory at a certain point. But right now, this is the 5th quest in Avalon Hill's remake, but it would have been the 2nd quest in the classic version. So no peeking. Of course, I always say if I suspect people are peeking, I'm going to change more things, just to keep it exciting, keep it a surprise. So let me just take a quick look at the Twitch. So we've got some lurkers here. Welcome, everybody. Oh, yeah, and shout out, of course, as always, to Carl Casey at White Bat Audio. Check out Carl Casey at Bandcamp, his website. We want to give proper credit to all of the people whose music we use. We appreciate that it's free and royalty-free, no audio jungle. And we should have worked out the sound issues that we had before. Okay, yeah, so let's see. Tonight we've got Geek Gun Giddy. Huzzah, the Dark Proxy DM has arrived. Yes. We've also got Jacer JIC, Joe Kozier, RPG Ash, and Wardicon. Welcome, everybody. Now the question is, do we have some heroes? If you want to join us as a hero tonight, all you got to do, easiest way, if you're watching us live on twitch.tv/HeroQuest fans, is head on over to the HeroQuest fans Discord. We're glad to have you. Hop into the voice channel known as Quest Talk. That's for streams. You will be on the live stream. You will be recorded as part of the show. But don't be bashful. We're kind. Well, I mean, as Zargon, I'm trying to destroy you, obviously. But, I mean, in terms of getting you into the game, we're kind, we're welcoming. So if you've never played HeroQuest before, if you've never played a tabletop RPG light, as this game is called, that's fine. We'll get you up to speed. It's no big deal. And you may wonder, well, how do I play if I don't have a HeroQuest set? Well, don't worry. We have virtual dice via MentorBot, thanks to Ribby. Ribby set those up for us. And check out his stuff on Bourbon and Board Games on YouTube. So MentorBot's really easy to use. It's just you type the commands in the chat and the dice appear virtually. and it's connected with dddice.com, which is a cool website where it rolls like a 3D version of the dice, which are also customized and designed by Ribby to mimic the classic HeroQuest combat dice and movement dice. You get all the colors. It's pretty awesome. So anyway, we do that, and then the rest of the stuff, I mean, you basically just tell me what you want to do, and I move your piece on the camera. You keep track of your stuff on your character sheet as you do. We don't have virtual character sheets yet, but I also keep track on my end, and sometimes, you know, we forget stuff, but we do our best to pick it up. It's just like a friendly game, but I like it because we're able to connect with people across the community. So people from back in the day, people who've never played HeroQuest before, people from Europe, wherever. So now I don't speak a lot of other languages, so I guess you got to be able to speak English. But if you're watching us on the replay on YouTube, you know, we're not live, but you can enjoy it with the subtitles and the auto translate. So hopefully you get something out of it. And if you're just listening to us, you know, while you paint or do dishes, do laundry, that's cool too. You can use your channel points, your gold coins, at any time during the live chat, of course. Cheers, Dead Gamer. Yeah, you can go to the Twitch chat, and where it says, let's see, what does it say? It says, send a message. So right underneath that, you should see a little square, a little orange and purple treasure image. Not the purple diamond, because that's cheering with bits. That actually costs money. No. Click on the little treasure icon. That's the viewer rewards. And so you use your channel points or gold coins to interact with our quest live. So, for example, you can buy a healing potion for the heroes to help them in their journey. You could buy a monster for Zargon. You know, you can help either side, both sides. Those gold coins build up over time. Now, if you follow us, you do get more. Following is great. We appreciate it. If you follow us, it's free. Subscribing does cost money, and they have raised the prices, unfortunately. Twitch has changed their policies. You know, it was good for a while. It's maybe not as good as it used to be. Still fairly good for our purposes. I mean, we're going to stay with Twitch unless something else comes along that lets us do everything we do at least this well, if not better. So I'm always open to feedback, suggestions. But anyway, yeah, you can use your gold coins, and if you decide to subscribe, we really appreciate it. That gives you a multiplier, so you get a lot of gold coins. And, you know, depending on the time, you know, we may have more supporters of the Chaos side or more of the Hero side, so it becomes kind of an interesting tug of war. I really like that, and I don't think there's anything like that on YouTube right now. I mean, there's like super stickers and stuff, and it's just like super chats. It's not quite the same. And we have custom icons. But anyway, like I said, I'm open to feedback, suggestions. You can always IM me on HeroQuest Fans Discord. Contact me on Yield In forums. I mean, I'm there. It's Kurgan. That's my handle there. Yeah, we appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Now, I understand also if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, because Amazon owns Twitch. If you have that Prime subscription, you get Amazon Gaming or Amazon Games. It's called something like that. I don't know because I don't have it myself. Spoilers. But if you have that, you can actually use that to put towards a subscription for a streamer that you like. And so if you do that for us, give us your Prime month. I mean, really appreciate that. That's awesome. I know there's a lot of people out there that you could support, but if you've chosen to support us, that's great. So yeah, shout out to all the people who've supported us over the years. We do this as a hobby. It's not a second career or anything. We don't make a profit off of it really. I mean, it's just a little bit of pocket change that goes straight back into the community if we can. I mean, I make custom shirts that I give away at conventions. I've mailed stuff out to people. You know, they compensate me for the shipping. That's basically it. Or just, you know, getting new cameras or whatever else we can do. But yeah, big thanks to everyone who supported us. Thanks to Ribby for designing MentorBot. Thanks to Elviler, who I hear is making a comeback. Elviler.com. Elviler's Game Room. He's got a lot of cool stuff on his website for HeroQuest. He designed our loading screens that you see in every quest there. Sometimes I think about tweaking them, but I mean, he did such a great job. It adds so much, and it's kind of become iconic for the site. And even the design that you see there, that has inspired some of the t-shirts that we've created. So big shout out to Elviler. Super awesome that you did that. There's a whole section on the HeroQuest fans Discord where I thank like a ton of people. I mean, without those folks, we wouldn't have it. You know, Shadzar pushed me into getting the Discord in the first place. All our players. You know, Darkhawk suggested some things. Bob Marston suggested some things. I mean, that whole putting the body points on screen, the potions. I mean, those were suggestions from them. It's been great. Yeah. So we're just kind of waiting to see if anybody shows up for Heroes tonight. I mean, I hope they didn't think the stream was canceled. If it was, I guess I could just talk about other stuff. But yeah, if we have anybody listening live who wants to join as a hero, hop into Quest Talk. We'll get you set up. Geek on Giddy says, a seasoned hero could mentor a first light newbie recruit through Yield In, helping to grow the HeroQuest fans community. What do you think? Oh yeah. Well, Geek on Giddy, I've said this before. The HeroQuest fans community, I mean, we use the name HeroQuest fans, but HeroQuest fans of HeroQuest in general have been around since 1989, and they've really never gone away. I mean, you know, you move on, you play the game as a kid, and maybe forget about it, but even before Avalon Hill brought the game back through Hasbro in 2020 with the HasLab campaign, and then 2021 was the release at the end of that year. Long before that, people were maintaining it. So you had websites like Old Scratch and Dwayne Agan's In, which became Yield In about 2008. You had forums. You had all kinds of like foreign language sites. So the Italians, the Germans, Spanish. I mean, people were keeping it going. French. There's lots of HeroQuest fans out there. Anyway, so they kept it going online. And those fans are, a lot of them have forgotten about HeroQuest, and they're slowly realizing, oh, it's back. Like, it's cool again. I could dig out this game, or I could buy the new one and start playing it. And I think Avalon Hill's definitely noticed that as they're remaking the stuff, they're paying attention to what those fans have done all over the years and what those fans are still doing, or what those fans want. So we have actually a big influence over modern HeroQuest. But the thing is, First Light is this smaller box. It's $50 instead of 135 or 125, you know, whatever. I guess you can find it for like $70 now, like on Amazon, the game system. You can find it discounted. Well, anyway, First Light is much cheaper, $50. And in the US, so far, it's only at Target. But we suspect eventually that exclusive is going to run out, and it's going to come to other stores, other retail stores. But actually, just like regular stores, you can just walk into and buy it. You don't have to go to a specialized game shop, and you know, it's on the shelf next to all these other games. You have no idea what it is unless you're the type of person that frequents those shops, you know, and knows what you're looking at. So just regular, ordinary people, casual players are going to discover it. They're really pushing First Light really hard. I mean, it's coming out in Europe. I mean, the UK has it. Most of the European countries have it. I think there's a few that are getting it in May. I think Germany or Spain. Maybe it's Spain. Yeah, I think Spain is the last one to get it, possibly. I could be wrong about that. It's either Spain, Italy, or Germany. It's like those three, so I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah, so it's in, I think, Australia has it now. I'm not sure about New Zealand. But anyway, First Light is going to be everywhere. And it's not replacing the game system. It's just a supplement. So they've definitely put stuff in there. I mean, Doug Hopkins talked about this to attract us as veteran players. But here's the thing, to Geek on Giddy's point. See, I'm getting back to the point. It's possible a whole new generation of people are going to discover HeroQuest because of First Light. And yes, it's true, some of them are going to go online and they're going to be like, oh, I'm a newbie, I don't know anything, let me just defer to what all these veteran HeroQuest players are telling me. Like, you know, I'm just going to copy and paste what they say. You know, and I'm not saying that in a negative way, but they're maybe going to adopt our ethos and our opinions and, you know, trust us to be the experts. However, it may come a time when First Light has brought in so many new people that they may start to assert themselves on their own, which is only natural, right? And it may be that their opinions become like the majority view. And it may be that Hasbro will rightly look to them for what they should do in the direction of future HeroQuest more than the old fans. So we have to kind of be prepared for that, to say, hey, eventually we may get outvoted. I mean, chances are the stuff that will appeal to you about HeroQuest, new HeroQuest, will be the same or similar to what appealed to us as kids in the 80s and 90s, you know. But it may not be exactly the same. And there's always the risk when this happens with a franchise of dividing the fan base. But I guess my thing is, if you're a veteran HeroQuest fan, I shouldn't have to tell you this, but just be welcoming. Be cool to these people. Be nice to them. Help them out. Train them. Don't be that actually guy, that's going to scare them off or think we're all weird. I mean, even if some of us are, hey, but just be nice, be welcoming, be friendly. Don't try to just bash them or overwhelm them. Just help them out, and that'll build that goodwill. Be an ambassador for the brand as a fan, right? And they're going to be more likely to listen to us and our ideas, look at our old mods, all that kind of stuff. And so if you're afraid of future HeroQuest being radically different because of new people coming in, I mean, people talk about gatekeeping and all that stuff. It's like, well, sometimes gatekeeping could be a good thing if you're preserving the integrity of a brand. But think about it from Hasbro's perspective. They're trying to make a profit, right? They're going to appeal to most of their paying customers. So at a certain point, if most of their paying customers want something totally different, they're going to go in that direction if they're smart. And so if we as fans want to keep HeroQuest something that we like, that we're going to keep wanting to buy, then we should win those new fans over to our side. We should, help them, educate them, not brainwash them, but educate them, share with them the stuff that you can do. And I think that will not just preserve the brand, but also keep that community spirit going. Because how long can we stay united? I mean, I go to some place like Ye Olde Inn and I look at the discussions going on there, and people disagree about everything. It's like, no, wrong. It's this, it's that. We argue over the history. There's the rules, what's best for mods. But ultimately, I see a wide range of respect to say, hey, Ribby, you interpret the rules this way, and you think this is the best way to run the game. And Bohemius, you think that this is the best way to play HeroQuest. I have a different way, but guess what? We each tolerate the other. We say, you can do it your way at your table, I do it my way. Maybe you show me something you created, and I go, yeah, I like that, but you know what? I would change this or that little thing, and then I would use it, As opposed to like, no, there's one way, and that's it. And if you're not doing that, you're not a true fan, you're not part of it. Like, we're not like that. And I see generally, yeah, people argue over rules, but at the end of the day, we just have fun. We share ideas. Some people like the game to be very complex. Other people like to keep it simple. Some people like to buy the expansions. Some people just like to create their own stuff or just play it and put it away. It's all good. And HeroQuest has helped me learn that I can be a little flexible with other games. I want to learn what the designers intended, but I'm also okay with tweaking it, changing it a little bit. All right, well, I've rambled on quite a bit. Hey, thanks, Ruby. Appreciate that. Yeah, we have this arena battle challenge going, so people are contributing gold coin points. I better check the tally, what we're up to now. But yeah, if we get high enough, we'll do an arena battle. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that comment. Okay, looking at the Twitch chat here. Geek on Giddy says, for example, Ribby could handhold a First Light newbie during a game on this channel and as in Mission Prodigy. Well, Geek on Giddy, I think we've done that. I think we've had new people on the stream that have never played HeroQuest before, and we've trained them, we've taught them how to play. And maybe some of them thought, yeah, that was kind of fun, but I don't really want to do this anymore, Or maybe they just go and play with their friends, they don't play online. Because playing online has its own quirks and things. Yeah, so we've definitely played with people who've never played before, and it seems to have been a positive experience. They're polite and everything. But actually having like a training class on the stream, I don't know if that would work because. Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. Oh, thanks, RPG Ash. Appreciate the support. Yeah, would it make sense to have like a training class? I think if we did something like that, I mean, you guys could do that anytime on your own time. I don't think I'd do it as a stream because who wants to be like put in the spotlight and saying like, I don't know anything about this game. And, you're gonna train me live for everyone's amusement. Like, I don't know. People might get performance anxiety or something. So I don't know if I'd put that kind of pressure on somebody. I would just say maybe, yeah, it's not recorded, it's not live. You can do that. You can do that in your own games. And I don't object to people imitating the system we've got. I mean, just if you're going to copy our system, maybe give credit. But yeah, I originally wanted to be able to play HeroQuest remotely with other people and preserve that nostalgic spirit. Yeah, Ribby. I appreciate your comments. I'm glad you're here. Are you going to play? Ribby's comment was, shout out to Michael, the new guy in the block over at the Avalon Hill Discord. Yeah, that was a big development. So, just quick news item. So, Avalon Hill's Discord was just exploded. It was a big deal a few years back. And then the December 2023 layoffs happened, right after Christmas. Or right before Christmas, I should say. Ooh, that's even worse. Yeah, right before Christmas, they laid off a bunch of people at Wizards of the Coast. And at least 2 prominent members of Avalon Hill's team were laid off. So Avalon Bill, the social media guy who was, I think he was the head moderator at Avalon Hill Discord. He was gone. It was like, whoa, crap. And Carmine, Chris Nato, project leader, design, project guy at Avalon Hill, so he was in charge of HeroQuest, gone. It's like, what? I mean, it was really a shock to a lot of people, but the Discord became like really quiet. I mean, people were still talking, but suddenly the moderators were gone. There weren't any new announcements. It was kind of weird. Or spam. So anyway, there's this new guy, Michael, but he's actually called if I can get his title right, let me just pull it up. Global Marketing Lead. Let me just see. I posted it. So Sika Shem and Bohemius brought it to my attention there in the HeroQuest fans Discord. I posted his screenshots of his comments. So here it is, Global Brand Manager. And he's also a moderator. He might be the head moderator at Avalon Hill Discord now. I posted the link in my YouTube posts section. It used to be called Community. And this is quoting him. So it's Michael at Avalon Hill. My name is Michael, and I'm new in the Avalon Hill product management team. I joined a few months ago, and have already felt incredibly grateful and honored to work alongside Doug, it's Doug Hopkins, and Patrick, Intergalactic Patrick, or Patrick O'Rourke, on a brand that has such a legacy. I used to collect copies of Risk as a kid, until my uncle passed me a game called Axis and Allies. I was blown away by how much more depth and immersion a tabletop game could offer, and have been a devoted hobbyist in the tabletop space ever since. Not to criticize his typing there, I make mistakes too, but yeah, so the Avalon Hill Discord is not just for HeroQuest, they have it for all their games. So all the Avalon Hill under Hasbro board games, so Axis and Allies, Risk, Diplomacy, HeroQuest, HeroScape, even though Renegade Game Studios is doing that now. Let's see. Michael continues. He says, I cut my teeth in the industry running game stores for the better part of a decade, growing from a single hole-in-the-wall store to having 4 well-established locations. I loved working at a local game shop. I'm a huge nerd and enjoy nearly every aspect of tabletop games and hobbies, from tabletop war games to RPGs and everything in between. There are a few things I enjoy more than getting a game to the table with friends and family. Michael continues, quote, if you want to get me on a soapbox, let's nerd out about how Battlestar Galactica, the board game, is better than Unfathomable, or how Dune, War for Arrakis is rivaling Star Wars Rebellion as my favorite epic 2-player game, or how hyped I am that Games Workshop is bringing back Old World so I can summon the Elector count on the table. P.S. Total War WH3 so epic. So some of those things I'm not familiar with. Okay, Michael continues. All right, I'm going to pop over to Hashtag news and announcements to knock out a bit of housekeeping stuff and update you guys a bit more about what I do at Avalon Hill and what's going on with Discord. And he continues on. So there's full posts you can read. But yeah, he's the global brand manager. He says he works with Avalon Hill development team to help bring titles to market specifically for strategy games, including the Avalon Hill portfolio and Risk. So I don't know if he's the one to politely talk to about getting HeroQuest to more markets. I just made a quick post saying, expressing to him the plight of the Spanish fans, in Spain. When the expansions come out, they sell out and then they don't get restocked. And fans are importing at great cost copies of HeroQuest from other countries so they can do fan translations. Like, that's how bad it's gotten for them. And whenever people email the Hasbro Spain headquarters, they send this polite response back, almost a canned response, just saying, hey, sorry, it's not us. It's, the HeroQuest the Hasbro headquarters in the U.S. that's responsible for this decision. We wish we could do something, but we can't. And you get the impression that Hasbro Spain is really small. But yeah, you can buy the game system and soon First Light, but any expansions, like once they sell out, they just don't get restocked. No second print run. And they can't be right. They can't be that there's no customers in Spain that want that stuff. I mean, it has a big community as far as I can tell, as far as I've seen, just like any of these other countries. I mean, I don't know the numbers, but something's got to be off that they think that it's not worth it. So anyway, I don't badger the guy, don't scare him off, but he's got his work cut out for him. At the very least, their Discord should improve in terms of, keeping it tidy. All right. Ribby says, for context, Fantasy Flight Games lost the rights to Battlestar Galactica. So they ended up reskinning the game as Unfathomable. Oh, okay. Interesting. I've heard of Fantasy Flight Games. But yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I had never even heard of Avalon Hill until the HasLab campaign started in 2020. I had no idea who they were. I didn't know their history. I didn't recall ever playing any of their games. Although my family, we went on an outing and I think my brother pulled out a game. Let's try this. And it was the Wilderness Survival game, and it said Avalon Hill on it. I was like, oh, interesting. So it was kind of fun playing that. And then I got as a gift, also from my brother actually, Sword and Skull. And that has Avalon Hill's logo on it and Wizards of the Coast, because briefly Wizards of the Coast used to be an independent company. And they actually bought out Avalon Hill, which also used to be an independent company. And then Avalon Hill and Wizards of the Coast were bought out by Hasbro Gaming. Hasbro, the toy company. And TSR was bought out by them too. So D&D, Magic the Gathering, all the Avalon Hill stuff, HeroQuest, which was under Milton Bradley, which of course Milton Bradley was always owned by Hasbro since the 80s. So all that is in Parker Brothers. All that stuff is subsumed under the same company now. It's crazy to think about. Even HeroScape, which is Renegade Game Studios, who also does Axis and Allies, that's all under license from Hasbro. So even though it has Renegade Game Studios logo on it, it's still Hasbro. So yeah, but I'm discovering all these new games now thanks to those connections, because I never would have even thought about these games when I was growing up. I mean, it was Life. I knew about Risk. I didn't play it. Still haven't played it. I know, crazy. Monopoly, chess checkers, backgammon, Parcheesi, all those fun kids games, Sorry and Trouble and all that. Mousetrap, Battleship. But yeah, I've never played Descent. I've only recently played HeroScape, some pencil and paper RPGs. But yeah, I mean, rediscovering HeroQuest has given me that confidence to try these new games that seem really complicated. And if it's not working, if it seems just too clumsy, it's just like, I can relate it back to HeroQuest. I can simplify it just so we can sit down and have a fun time without having to spend, a week learning the ins and outs of the complicated rules. And most of these game designers, like when you read their books, they basically give you their blessing to do that. It's like, oh, you want to modify our game? Go for it. Now, if you try to sell it, okay, that gets into OGL stuff and questionable, debates and all that stuff. But you just want to make, your homebrew rules. That's always been a thing. Let's throw down a Descent stream. Well, Ribby, the thing about that is, just like with OrcQuest, I mean, if it's a game that I don't have, I'm going to be like, okay, convince your mom to make stovetop stuffing, invite me over, and we'll play it. I mean, I bought OrcQuest because of guys like you, and I don't regret it. It's a really cool game, but it takes a little more setup. So, I mean, I would try these games, for sure. I'm running out of space for board games. I really am. Okay, and Bohemius is here. He's been waiting patiently. Welcome, sir. Our first hero of the night. Bohemius, are you hearing me? Maybe he's away. Well, anyway, if we've got heroes, we could start playing against the Ogre Horde anytime. I just kind of got off on a tangent there. We'll get the dice on MentorBot easy. Yeah, so Ribby, you've added a lot of stuff to MentorBot since we first started. I mean, it started out with HeroQuest, but we've got Space Crusade in there. We've got OrcQuest in there. I was hoping you'd add Battle Masters, but then I was thinking, well, when are we ever going to use it? It's kind of hard. Like, filming Battle Masters on a live stream is pretty difficult because the mat is so huge. And I know people have suggested, well, we could use a shrunk down version, but that takes out a lot of the fun for me. So I don't know. That'd have to be a special event, and that's a lot of work for just, a one-off or something like that. But yeah, I've seen a couple requests from different people to use MentorBot on their Discords. Like, oh, how can I get that? How can I use it? So I think that's definitely a compliment to you for the product. Letting you roll those virtual dice in Discord. It's pretty cool. And then connecting it with DD Dice is icing on the cake. So I'm going to check the stream because I'm concerned about the sound here. So I'm going to check the stream. Okay, seems like we've got sound. It says our connection is unstable. You guys let me know if there's any issues with the stream, please, on the live chat there. But yeah, once again, shout out to Carl Casey at Whitebed Audio and YouTube for the music. Oh, Freelancer Set 117 is here. Pock Pikachu, welcome. So the big question is, are we just going to talk tonight, or does anybody actually want to play a quest? I mean, I'm fine with that. Gonsgrim's here. Ruby. Yeah, do we have any heroes tonight? I mean, I've enjoyed these HeroQuest talks, these discussions. It's kind of like what we used to do. We used to have like one video where I'm just rambling on about HeroQuest, and then occasionally people would chime in, with their own memories or questions. And then the other stream or video would be us playing a live game. Then we kind of got hardcore into it. We were like, okay, let's play a stream, on a Friday and a stream on Saturday. And this week we can't do the Saturday stream, but we've definitely had some where we talked more. As far as other HeroQuest news, I'm trying to think what else is going on. So new moderator at Avalon Hill Discord. The German, at least the German version of Jungles of Delthrak is out, but not on Hasbro Consumer Care. So the app hasn't been updated in a while. The First Light instruction booklet is out, but not the quest book, like in PDF format, digital format. So kind of wondering what's going to happen with that, but maybe that would be something to ask Michael at Avalon Hill. He can forward it on. At least Doug gets a break. He doesn't have to forward everything on. Wandering Monster, that's Doug Hopkins, because he's just a designer. It's like, what am I doing all this moderating and social media stuff for? I mean, he's done a pretty good job of presenting things. Oh, I know. Hispazargon posted on EOLDN, he posted an interview with Levi Combs, who was the writer of Jungles of Delthrak. And I thought that interview with Levi Combs was pretty cool because it gives us kind of an insight, I think, into how Avalon Hill does these expansions. Like you've got, this is my impression of it. This is me reading between the lines. Oh, somebody's cashing something in. Uncommon feat. Thanks, Gigangity. 1 second. Let me finish this thought here. I appreciate that. What I was thinking from that interview was you've got one person who writes a series of quests, 10, 14, 16, whatever quests. Doug Hopkins does the rules. And then you've got a team of editors who will, like, they have like a, I guess you could call it a writer's Bible. I think that's what Tess Hogan called it, like where you've got, this is the lore, this is the world, these are our goals in the story, this is what is supposed to be happening. And they go through and they fix the problems, typos and stuff, but they also make suggestions. And then the writer goes back and kind of like modifies stuff to kind of like hit those bullet points or whatever they do. And when Chris Nato was a project leader, he would do that too. Like he didn't just sign off on stuff, he would actually like make contributions. So it's a team effort, but you still got one person who basically knocks out the quests, and it sounds like they get a lot of freedom and flexibility. I think Levi says in the interview something like, most of my ideas, made it to the final version or something. So they have the power to edit some of his stuff, they take it out, but it sounds like he gets a lot of flexibility. So that's cool. But we do know that Doug Hopkins, as I guess lead designer on HeroQuest, he commissions artists to do the design. So they have an idea of like what the monster is supposed to look like, and then they hire usually a freelance artist, assuming they don't have someone in house. So like someone like Nikki Dawes is a recurring artist, and it's like, okay, this is what we want, and then she creates like an image of the Guardian Knight or something like that, or the Druid card art. It's like, okay, this is what it looks like, and then they put that into HeroQuest. So that's pretty cool. We don't necessarily know who did what in every case. I mean, infamously, when people complained about the First Light cover, they said, "Oh yeah, that was Clark Mitchell," and then people looked at his work and were like, "Whoa, this guy is like the king of copy and paste and AI and weird stuff." So people didn't like it, so they changed it to Yellowfly's design. It's like, who's Yellowfly? So I had to like look at their website, and I didn't get a sense of like who the people were on it or if it was one person, but just like, okay, this is what Yellowfly does. Jacer says, I'd like to play, but I can't for another 20 minutes. Well, we're already 45 minutes in, so that's okay. I don't mind if we start a little late. I mean, I was a little late getting started here. Geek on Giddy says, uncommon feat for a hero. Okay, so this is his suggestion. Piercing light fractures the insidious gloom and bestows a 1 hero with the ability to throttle a beast with a green shoot of the spring equinox. So basically, you get to choke a monster out with a plant. Yeah, spring. Spring is here. Okay. Well, we can take it easy. We can chat till then. I don't mind. I do have some things that I got to do today, so I mean I can't play HeroQuest all day. But I mean usually I usually block out 2 hours. So 2:15 Central Standard Time until 4:15. But if people want to go later, I'm okay with that. I think the latest we've gone is till 6. I mean that's kind of pushing it. People are kind of tired. Geek on Giddy asks, any new news on Luca's Lost Quest? Yes. So Luca Posky, head of the fan project to restore the Dwarf and Wizard quest packs, the Lost quest packs based on the draft notes from 1992, they've made a lot of progress. And I can't speak for him, But from what I understand, they're very, very close. Like an update is coming soon, hopefully. As far as I understand it, the play testing has gone really well, and they're pretty much done. I think they've gone through all the quests now and checked everything. I think Hispa Zargon and some other people were doing that, which is awesome. I don't know if they ran into some issues, but the he mentioned it. The problem is the perfectionism. Like there's always one little thing that somebody found, and it's like, oh, we got to fix that. Oh, we got to tweak that little thing. It's like it's never going to be perfect. I know how it is. It's like you write a term paper and you edit it, and your editor looks at it, and you do all this stuff, and finally, you turn in your final draft, and then you get it back from the printers, and it's like, oh, I made this stupid mistake right here. Oh well, that's what errata is for. It's good enough. I think at this point, my personal opinion, they're close enough that they could just release it. Just release it. Don't worry about it. People find mistakes, and that's the great thing about having a digital mod out there, right? You can just update it. You can just fix it. You don't have to, send it back to the printers and do all this stuff. I mean, if you printed it out already, you're going to be mad, but I mean, that's just like when I print custom cards. I get them back from Make Playing Cards or Board Games Maker, and it's like, oh, I can't believe I misspelled this one word, or I put the period in the wrong place, the comma. Dang it. I left out one word and it sounds silly. It's like, okay, well, that happens. But when it's digital, you can fix it. So I would just encourage him and the other people he's working with, just don't worry about it. I'm sure it's good enough. I'm sure you can just release it. The other roadblock or thing that was taking a long time is the commissioned artwork. Because, as you can imagine, they can't use any artwork from the classic edition. No official HeroQuest artwork, because it's all owned by Hasbro. And even the original artists who did like sketches, I mean, they were working with Mike Gray's team in North America. They were working with photocopies of Against the Ogre Horde and Wizards of Morcar, because a lot of the assets were shared in these proposed quest packs. So we can't use that stuff. Can't use models that existed from the originals, because there's the 3-ups and 4-ups of the original models of the characters, like the giant spiders and carnivorous cave worms and evil dwarfs. Can't use those. So they had to create all new stuff. And the idea was like, okay, you download the PDFs for the cards, and I think the last time I looked at the cards, they were all blank. I mean, they just had text. There was no pictures. So they got to do all that. The tiles were done. The tiles looked awesome. And I don't think there's anything wrong with me saying this, because he's shown a lot of this on interviews and stuff. HeroQuest Italia, Grog, they did a whole thing on it. He's done interviews with us. The STL files, so the 3D files that you can feed into your 3D printer and print your own, those are all done. And I think they look great. And they're not the same, but they're inspired by the original designs. So they could be free. All this stuff is going to be free. And then as far as the distribution model, I don't think they have anything officially worked out. Like, there's not going to be one central website where everybody can get it. But probably people will just put it online, and other people will just copy and paste and put it on other servers. The one thing that they don't want is for people to sell it. Unfortunately, these days, you do have people on Etsy, maybe who are a little shady, or who don't bother to research the files they get. We criticized Minis 3D when he did the Venom print before. Eventually he did change it. He did correct himself. But some of these people, like, they'll put stuff out, and it's like, those designs are stolen. I hope you know that. Like, you're selling somebody else's work without permission. Like, that's not cool. So the whole point is, if it's Hasbro, they can't sell it. Just like you can't sell mods that say HeroQuest on them with the HeroQuest logo unless you've licensed it. So all these fan mods have to change the names. So you got Sunday Quest, HeroQuest Adventures, becomes Sunday Quest Adventures, Ultra Quest, Extra Quest, Axion Quest, all these different things. So if Luca Posky releases this as a product that you could buy, he'd have to change everything. Like, he'd have to change all the stuff, go through WordFind, replace it. So it's not HeroQuest. It's HeroQuest compatible. It's, I don't know, Luca Quest or something like that. But that's not what they're going for. They're trying to recreate something that looks like what these quest packs probably would have looked like if Milton Bradley had had time to properly playtest them and fix them and release them. So maybe like 93, 94, we would have seen these. Now it's a little bit, you know, gray area because it's like, okay, could Hasbro shut that down if they wanted to? I mean, possibly. But if you're, especially if you tried to sell it, they would definitely C&D the stuff, and it would be really bad for the community. So his position has always been, okay, we're going to put this out for free, but they want it to be the best it can be. And because once you put it out there, people can change it, right? And some people might try to sell it, but the good thing about that, if people try to like break the intentions of the authors and sell it, is first they can get C&D'd by Hasbro, because technically the stuff is owned by them still. They have everything, they own everything, as Chris Nato used to say and Carmine said. Because Hasbro could put out their own Dwarf or Wizard quest pack. It'd be different than the fan version, but if they did, they could shut it all down. And the other thing is the artwork is original. So Luca Posky and some others, I think, have actually hired artists to create works. You know, images for the cards, tiles, the 3D models. And the idea is this is supposed to be out for free. And if you sell it, you're breaking that agreement, that license. I mean, even STL files are licensed. So if somebody does sell it, they're going to be C&D'd from those artists. You know, and us fans, of course, we can do our part. You know, we can boycott those people. We can report them. We can create negative press to say, hey, look, these guys are screwing over the community. This stuff's supposed to be free. So I think at least I have taken some comfort in the fact that the fans will stick up for that. But I also understand if there's some like fear, reluctance, hesitation on the part of Luca and his team to say, well, if we put this out there, people are going to try to mess with it. I mean, you can modify it, give credit if you modify it, but don't sell it. So anyway, but yeah, I look forward to seeing that stuff come out. As far as the time frame, I still don't have anything. I mean, unless Luca goes on there and announces it, I have no clue when it's coming out. I hope it comes out soon. I'd like to see it this year for sure. And I'm anxious to get into the Dwarf stuff because he has basically a small group going where we look at the drafts. I'm part of it. I don't have any, important role. I'm just there. Mostly I just make comments like, oh yeah, this is what I think of this, or this is how I interpret this. Because, they're handwritten notes or typed notes, scribbles, photocopies, drawings, emails. Because all that stuff was put out in the public. Some of it, though, the public hasn't seen yet. So yeah, Geek on Giddy, short form is no news. Just soon, hopefully. Update soon, hopefully. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, Luca Posky, he kind of disappeared for a little while. I didn't hear from him for at least a month. I was like, oh, gee, I hope he's okay. Hope he's doing okay. But he was just busy. So that's good to hear. Yeah, so Gen Con, July 31st. It would be cool to see something happen before Gen Con. But we're all thinking that Gen Con, it's going to be, Crypt of Perpetual Darkness will probably be out already. If the reports are true, we could expect that to happen in July. Early July, maybe late June, if it comes out early, like a lot of the other expansions have. So Crypt of Perpetual Darkness in retail, no longer proprietary. Thanks, Joe Manganiello. And then Wizards of Morcar, we don't know, but at least the suggestion is it might be around December. Then again, I don't think we've really had any December HeroQuest releases. Like, things don't tend to happen in December. Everybody's like, oh man, you should release it in time for Christmas, and then nothing happens. So it's usually like November something happens, October, November, and then January, or maybe February or March. So I think Wizards of Morcar would probably come out January, February, but that's just a guess. I mean, I was hoping it was come out this year, but maybe with the delays from having to change the cover of First Light and not to get into politics, but some of the tariff stuff, maybe that's changed some of their plans, and so maybe Wizards of Morcar would come out in February instead of December. So maybe early next year. But they've said repeatedly Avalon Hill has. Doug says, hey, they want to support it indefinitely, but Hasbro is committed at least through the end of 2026. So unless they have drastic, changes in plans, I mean, Hero Quest is going to be around. We're eventually going to get Wizards of Morcar, and it won't be the last thing. I mean, they're still doing the fan roll stuff with the dice, which I don't care that much about because it's limited release. Eventually, they're going to have whatever that IP crossover is, which we think is HeroScape. Hasn't been confirmed officially yet, but heavily teased, I would say. HeroScape and HeroQuest coming together, I'd be okay with that. I mean, not permanently, but like a one-off or two, that'd be fine. An alternate series, a side project. Geek on Getty says, thought of the day. How does a boomerang return if it hits an opponent? It's a magic boomerang. Yeah. Well, a real boomerang probably wouldn't hit the target, or if it did, it would stop. But in HeroQuest, usually you throw a weapon and it's just gone. It's lost permanently. It's like, well, couldn't I retrieve it? If you want. If you really want to reason about it, you could say, okay, it's a magical boomerang that comes back even if it hits you, or the goblin, let's say, has another one in his pocket. Well, why can't you just loot every monster you kill and collect their weapons and armor? I don't know. Just a game mechanic. Maybe it broke. Maybe it doesn't fit. You don't know how to use it. Maybe it self-destructs when the monster dies. Too honorable. Too gross. Too slimy. Too stinky. Yeah. Because it just does. Because Zargon said so. Just like Stone Cold. All right, let's check our chat here. Oh, Jacer's here. Oh, yeah, he said 20 minutes. How long ago was that? Jacer, are you still waiting?
I'm on my way home now.
All right.
I just punched out.
He's in pursuit. Optimus Prime is rolling down the highway. Still in vehicle form. Cool. Okay, well, we'll be happy to have you. Is Bohemius back?
Autobot roll out.
Yes. Transform and roll out.
Hey, say the line, Jacer.
Wanted to say, freedom is the right of all sentient beings. See, when I try to do it, Optimus Prime, it just sounds like a grizzled old guy. I don't know if any of you saw it. They Hasbro did this thing in theaters. They showed the first 3 episodes of the original Transformers cartoon, and I guess in honor of whatever that new CGI Transformers movie was. But yeah, they did. It was just a marathon of the first 3 episodes, and the very first episode, it was like on the big screen. It was a split screen between the animation, and then they had like a panel of all these old guys sitting around a table with microphones, and they were like reading the script. So like when it came to the line, instead of hearing it from the cartoon, you heard it from the guy reading it. It's pretty sweet. Now, unfortunately, some of the original voice actors have passed away. So like Casey Kasem obviously wasn't there. The guy who played Starscream actually was not the original Starscream, but one of the guys who's played Starscream in like later shows. His were hilarious because he'd be reading the lines and he'd like his facial expressions would like go with it, and he's got that cool like facial hair. So it was funny to see his interactions with Megatron and so forth. But they only did it for the first episode. For the other episodes, it was just the cartoon. But yeah, my nephew was watching it with us, and he had a great time. Because originally, when they announced it, we thought it would be the Transformers movie, but instead it was the animated show. Anyway, Clark Mitchell plus C. Oh, copy paste for Clark Mitchell.
Yeah, he specialized.
Yeah. Well, my thought was, and I think a lot of people had the same idea, was Hasbro's trying to save money. They've cut a lot of people, and this was end of 2023. And so they laid off a bunch of people, and it's like, okay, who's a guy who can do it fast and cheap? Clark Mitchell. And if you look at his work, it's like copy paste. He takes existing elements, photoshopped it. I mean, he does a pretty good job with that. I mean, the thing is, it's like, I would love to be able to have that level of skill. Like, I can kind of sort of do it, but I mean, he does it for a living. But a fan modification is one thing. A commercial product that you're going to buy, it's like, that looks crappy. That looks stupid. It looks cheap. I don't want it. It's one thing to do that as like the first draft or the mock-up. You're in the meeting, you're like, hey, this is what we think the cover should look like. Clark Mitchell, he, makes the mock-up, throws it up on the screen. Okay. And that's what they use AI for. Like, they use AI for stuff just like, okay, we just need a quick, mock-up. Do it, boom. But when you actually
Yeah, but
sell it,
don't print the mock-up.
yeah, it's like, that's like turning in the first draft. It's like, what? And a lot of these AI models, like, they'll let you create a couple things and then they're like, now pay us. And it's like, I hate to do that. So, yeah. It's one thing to do it in a fan project. But if you're asking people to pay for it, especially pay full price, don't.
I really believe they approve it without actually noticing all those details.
Yeah. Well, a lot of us just imagined, okay, it's some, suit, some guy at a desk going, yeah, looks fine to me. I'm not going to bother to look very carefully, or check. The suspicion, the conspiracy theory is that
At first glance, from far away, completely without knowledge, was acceptable.
Yeah. At first glance, I thought, it's different. It's okay. Kind of gave me that old school vibe of like old artwork from the 80s. But yeah, people like Amalgamash just blew it up. Verg, all those guys just like, look at this, look at this, look at this.
Yeah, I was part of that group.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna single you out there, Bohemius. But yeah, you guys have an attention to detail. A lot of stuff I miss. And so if you guys hadn't said anything, made a big deal about it, I might not have realized. It's like, oh crap, you're right. Look at this box and then compare. It's the whole thing with Jungles of Deltarac, I was like, come on guys. Like, nah, there's nothing here. Like, no. Look at it, compare, overlay it, like, give it another look. So, yeah. What would I do without you?
Yeah, you learn to trust us.
Yep, trust me. Know what I'm doing. Well, but that's the thing. I think there's, the suspicion is that Hasbro just wants to get it done. We know the CEO loves AI. He wants stuff to go digital because the idea is they can save a lot of money. They don't have to hire these artists. They can cut people. They can cut their budget and still charge the same price. That's the suspicion. What they publicly said, and especially what Avalon Hill says and what their policy says, is no, we don't. We use AI in the design process, but not for the final product that we sell. That has to be original work. We love, human artists, but when you hire a guy that has a reputation for doing stuff that's either AI or copy and paste, ends up looking like AI. Like, what's the difference? Like, you just can't do that. Hire the guy to do your prototyping. Okay, fine. But then hire like a real artist. Because if the product has to be a few dollars more, I'll pay for it, knowing that it's real, a real artist. Like, you actually hired somebody with talent to create the product, not just because it looks good, but because you're being fair to the artist. You're not firing people just so you can use something crappy. And then there's the whole ethical question of whether AI doesn't just steal artists' work anyway. It grabs samples. In this case, it was not to relitigate the whole thing, but at least in this case, they were copying art that they already owned. It's like, let's take all the art from all the HeroQuest covers that we already have and just kind of mix and match and copy and paste and add a couple of new things, but hardly anything new. And then it ends up looking like just a collage that somebody made.
Yeah, but the elf doesn't even wear the canonic outfit in that cover.
Yeah.
It's completely a different character.
Yeah, and if you're going to do that, fine, but then we expect you to put a miniature in the box that matches that. And that, yeah, it sets up a false expectation. So, yeah, there was a lot of problems with it. In the final analysis, I think they made the right choice. And if it delayed the product, so be it. You know, I think it's the right decision to make. It doesn't leave a bad taste in the mouth.
I don't know if in that moment they already planned to extend the marketing campaign, or is something that evolved, because all this delay is not just the cover. The cover already fixed it. They already give us the product.
Yeah.
It's just that they keep talking about the First Light 2 months after the release.
Based on what I heard from Patrick, again, I'm reading between the lines. I'm doing a lot of speculating, so it's not his fault. He's not, breaking any company policy. I'm sure he said only the things he could say. But you get the impression that while these, like the hero collections, like the Monk and the Rogue, HeroQuest as a franchise was not going to stand or fall based on the success or lack thereof of those products, and they sold well enough. But I have a feeling, a suspicion, that if First Light flops, they're in big trouble. Like, they're investing a lot in this. A lot is riding on the future success of the franchise based on that. Now, theoretically, that's not true. Theoretically, I'm wrong, because you could say, well, what was HeroQuest before First Light came out? It was doing fine, right? It was making money. Magic the Gathering, D&D were losing money for a while, or having disappointing results, whereas HeroQuest was doing great and actually compensating for some of that failure with the OGL and all that. So HeroQuest could still remain as a product that, is sold at niche, gamer hobby stores and online, but the general public has no idea even exists. But First Light was going to bring it to everybody, so now it's like a regular Hasbro toy that everybody knows about, and that's a big investment to expand it so much. So they're hoping to make a lot of money with HeroQuest, and that's a kind of a risk. So if it flops, they're going to have a lot of unsold copies. They're going to have a lot of angry stores. It's going to hurt their reputation with them. I mean, all these ripple effects. They might lay off more people. It would really suck. So we're all hoping that First Light does well. And so far it looks to be doing well, but I guess I don't know if we have any numbers to back that up. All we know is that the pre-orders sold out very quickly. And some people at first were saying, stores have slashed their prices, but apparently that was just in Georgia. And there's some, again, not to get political, but some boycotts going on against Target for other things that have nothing to do with Avalon Hill, that some people were saying, well, maybe that's the reason why. They're afraid that people won't buy it, so they're going to slash the price. But other people have reported no. I mean, you can walk into Target and it's right there on the shelf. It's the same price it always was. There's no issue.
I hope it does well. The only reason I was worried is because, unlike the other expansions, this is one that people that already have HeroQuest may or may not even buy. Because it's really only when you're looking at it, it's a dragon and another set of heroes. You know what I mean? But
yeah, and
you might not want it, or you might want it. You know what I mean? Excellent. And a new quest book with 10 quests. So it could have gone either way. But if you already have everything and you're waiting for another expansion, this might not be the expansion that you were waiting for or looking forward to.
It'll be a real test of their business model. Excellent points, Jaser, because, up to this point, they've leaned heavily on the nostalgia of old HeroQuest players like us, old fans who remember the game from the 90s, who are grown now and maybe have our own kids to introduce the game to. They've relied on that. yes, a few people probably got into it because of the memes with Bardic Broadcasts, or they were on Ash's channel or Always Bored Never Boring and went, oh, HeroQuest, oh, I should try that. But most people were already there. And so, yeah, there's that. And like you say, why would I buy First Light when I already have the game system? Like, I already have the better product. It's got more quests. It's got more plastic miniatures. Why do I want cardboard monsters? I don't have any use for that. I mean, yeah, maybe you could use them as dead monsters or something, but chances are it's just going to sit in the box. I'll gift it to somebody, And Doug, to his credit, tried really hard, and I think he had a point. He's like, okay, the reason there's a boot tile, the reason there's new sculpts for the heroes based on feedback, the reason there's a dragon, all that is to try to get us to buy it again. Because you can, just like Jaws of the Lion with Gloomhaven, you can take the expansion standalone and add it to your original game. I mean, I think when we play First Light, I'm probably not going to use the cardboard standees. I mean, I might just show them off, but we're just going to use the regular miniatures. I'll just kind of combine it all together. But yeah, if most of us who backed the HasLab campaign or who already bought the retail game system from 2022 or whatever, if we don't buy it, then they will really see, they'll truly see who are the new people who are going to buy HeroQuest. Because maybe they've heard about HeroQuest or they see it and it looks cool, but they're not going to spend $125 because they probably don't realize, oh, I can go on Amazon and get it for 70 or 80, 90, 100. Go to Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. I mean, those are still sites that appeal to collectors and hardcore gamers, people who are already in the milieu, as opposed to somebody who's just shopping with their kids and goes, oh, look, a board game, or oh man, we need a game for game night. What should it be? No. HeroQuest? What's that? I wonder. Have I heard of that? They flip it over, look at it. Is this something I want to buy? So, excellent point. The other fears that people had was, Covert Nerd talked about this with me, and Amalgamash has covered it in Ash Quest. What if, to save money, they switch all the expansions to cardboard? That would really suck. That's what Brazilian players had to put up with. Is that, yeah, they got these cool standees, but they didn't get the plastic miniatures because for whatever reason, that deal, which was in 1993, so it was towards the end of the HeroQuest Classic run, they got the cheaper version. They got, a thinner board. They got cardboard standees instead of characters. Some of the furniture was cardboard. They didn't get the fancy armory table. They just got, the pages in the back of the quest book showing all the weapons, sketches. So it's like, they got the cheaper version. But Patrick said, no, they have no plans to convert those to cardboard. So the expansions that we've got are the expansions we've got. And they're not going to get rid of the game system. It's still going to be a parallel between the game system with all the plastic, the deluxe version basically, with the original quests, and then First Light with its own stuff. They're not going to make new expansions that follow First Light. Now, yes, Bohemius, I can sense you, the fire building up. You're ready to launch the fireball at me, which is to say, well, what about Stephen Baker? He wrote more quests, right? Second Light or First Light Part 2, Rambo's Return. Yeah, that could happen. But at the same time, Patrick did say, okay, we're not going to build future expansions that require First Light. They're going to be compatible with both the game system and First Light. Because, you buy whatever you buy, and then you buy the expansions. First Light's compatible with all expansions. So that's, I think, the right direction to do. At the same time, though, I understand if things get too drastic at Hasbro, they might make some big change. They're just going to drop it and on everybody, and then Avalon Hill just has to go along with it. It's also true that, as Doug said, they have regular meetings. They look for insights. If they see everybody posting something on social media, commenting, they pay close attention to that, and they bring it up at their board meetings. And so if all of a sudden all these people buying First Light demand something, and maybe the old fans don't care for it, they're going to listen to the majority of the fans, and they're going to make those changes accordingly. So hopefully we see eye to eye with those new people. They don't take it in a weird direction. But usually we see in these franchises, Unfortunately, people get into politics and other stuff. A lot of people who don't necessarily care for a franchise, they just care about the image of the franchise. They get into fights online, and then sometimes corporations make decisions based on that publicity rather than what the paying customers actually want. Like, that's the trouble. I mean, people who think everything is fine generally don't say anything. They're a silent majority. They don't say anything. Whereas if the people have really strong opinions, those are the people that are the loud ones. So the people that hate everything, they're complaining. People that love the stuff, bashing those people, it's like you have to be really careful when you're evaluating that data. So hopefully the people they've got in their marketing and the research divisions, they know how to separate out, the fanboys, whether negative or positive, from what customers are actually saying. So it is important that you leave a review, that you post your comments, say what you really think. And hopefully, if this corporation is trying to make money, great, but also keep that customer loyalty. They actually pay attention and filter out, I guess, the noise.
Yeah, and I'd say make your argument well articulated so that they
Yes.
understand where it's coming from and how it's coming from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, this quest pack sucks because I hate the color
Right.
green.
No
Oh,
feedback,
okay,
no
okay.
criticism. It's like, all right, I get it, but there's how
0
do I
stars.
fix it?
0 stars. Yeah, yeah. So try to be articulate. I mean, not everybody is going to be Shakespeare or whatever, but yeah, just give them good feedback, civil feedback, and we're going to disagree. Some people are going to say they want X and somebody else wants Y. It's possible to accommodate a wide range of desires in the game, but at the same time, keep in mind this is the company that sells D&D. So if people want HeroQuest to be exactly like D&D and it's not good because it's not like D&D, well, you can play D&D. If you prefer HeroScape,
And you can use the HeroQuest miniatures for it.
yes, exactly. You can combine the stuff. You can combine it. It's really easy. But I mean like an official product.
Yeah, I mean you're not gonna get the perfect, the perfect owlbear out of HeroQuest, but
Everybody has their idea of perfection.
yeah, but you got a polar war bear sitting there, and you're like, I need a big bad bugbear, and you're like, this guy'll do. Done.
Yeah, exactly. Hispazargon chimed in. He says, "No fear. Avalon Hill members confirmed expansions will not have standees." See? There you go. At the same time, though, I can see a place for standees. I mean, it does allow them to make the box smaller, keep the price lower, which is something that
Yeah,
these stores want. They're taking a risk with every new product. They don't want to take up the entire shelf with HeroQuests unless they know it's a hot seller, right? So it's unproven. So it's like, okay, but a little box, we can put that in there. That's fine. And if the dice have to be a weird
yes.
color to be an exclusive, so we maybe.
And
I
it
don't
kind
want
of works
standee.
for the spawnlings, and even the rats and smaller things that can share a space with another monster or hero. That makes a lot of sense to use a tile or something like that. Maybe not a standee, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It kind of works.
Yeah, I mean a standee is more interesting than a tile, but if it's a choice between a sculpt, a piece of plastic, and just a cardboard standee, I'd go with the sculpt. I mean, the original HeroQuest had both in the sense. I mean, the furniture was part cardboard, full color, and part plastic. But that does require some assembly, and it seems like they're against the whole assembly thing. Like very minimal assembly is required in the new HeroQuest. Everything's bigger, less assembly. Like, is that just for impatient adults, or because kids like that stuff? It's, oh, I get to put it together. It's so cool. It's like a project. A couple more comments from the chat. Geek on Giddy says, would have bought First Light if it was same dungeon, but has 6 separate tiles to encourage a variety of board layout. Well, I know early on, a lot of us, including myself, were speculating that that's what they were going to do. But then people like Sik Hashem, who was big into Talisman, was like, no, just make it a 6-fold board. It works. That's what, just fold it more times. I mean, and the board is thinner. I guess it has more failure points where it could rip, but it works. You didn't have to use the tiles. I mean, dungeon tiles have pros and cons, as we've seen. Stephen Baker's admitted this, so it's not just Bardic Broadcasts who made the joke, but it's just like, during early playtesting, HeroQuest did use tiles, big tiles, similar to like Advanced HeroQuest, but it would like go off the table, or kids would get frustrated because they couldn't find the right tile at the right time, or there's just some confusion, and it got in the way of the play experience. So they're like, board is more traditional, people understand it, it's easy, and it doesn't have to be a giant board because that's more expensive, right?
Yeah, well, if they did it in like 4 or 6 pieces and you just assembled it like a puzzle,
yeah,
or even if they put a tab in it, it'd be okay, but it'd be the same as putting out a board, but they could reconfigure it and still have it so that it didn't go off the table because it wouldn't be random.
Yeah, that's
or
true.
Maybe or double-sided where you can flip one over and have it the other way.
Yeah, and I imagine that too.
Yeah, but it would be the same problem as Space Crusade. Even if it's all only for boards, it takes a while for kids understanding which direction they have to put it exactly in the like he's in the mission.
There's ways to get around it. I mean, my Space Crusade boards, I mean, if you look at them, it's like they've got the artwork on one side, but on the back it's just purple like construction paper. So it's not as thick. It doesn't have that strong binding, and so it warps. It's like my Space Crusade boards are warped. And the way Space Crusade is, I guess this is getting off topic, but you're supposed to clip the boards together with these plastic clips. And once it warps, those clips don't work anymore. So if you see on our streams we've done, like the boards are kind of just like they're off, and I'm constantly like adjusting them. That's why. Even though I have like extra clips now to try to like, and weights and stuff, I've tried like flattening them out. So I reprinted the boards as 4 boards. So like each quadrant is now a board that folds in half with backing and everything. It was expensive, but it's cool. So that's what I used at Gen Con. So you got 4 boards, but with Space Crusade, at least you're intended to rotate them and rearrange them because different missions have like different configurations. But with HeroQuest, yeah, you could do it a couple different ways. You could do like some fans have done and make each of the rooms a tile in each corridor, like a length of tiles. And so you could make infinite combinations. Or you could just say, no, the point is just to fit it in the box. And it all assembles one way like a puzzle piece. Yeah, exactly. And that's your board. Now, then the only danger is, do the pieces rip? Do you lose a piece? Does it take more time to set it up? Gets in the way of the fun. I mean, usually kids would be like, oh, good, a puzzle I get to build. But the adults are like, grumble, grumble, grumble. You set it up and tell me when it's ready. That's the way HeroScape is, too. It's like the kids are like, oh, awesome, we get to build this thing. And they spend more time building than actually playing. The grown-ups are like, boring. So tedious. Let's get to the action. There's no action. Come on.
Well, funny anecdote about space. I always get confused because we have StarQuest. It's called in Italy.
StarQuest. Yep, I've got both. Yeah.
I sent my brother to take my, because I live in the US. He live in Italy with my mother. I said my brother to my mother to take my games so he can take care of it, and he showed me with a video the game that he took, and there were games that I didn't remember were there. For some reason, they are not even mine, and between them, there's also StarQuest. I never owned. In my life.
Wait, what?
Where did you get that?
Ice Scramble?
They appear out of nowhere. This game, I don't know where they take it.
Forgotten birthday present, or? I mean, it's good.
No. I never owned the StarQuest.
Huh.
I play with friends. Okay, so my guess is one of the StarQuest they belong to one of my friends.
Oh,
so,
like they left it at your house? Yes. Oh man. I mean, if they're a good
So,
friend, I'd maybe like try to contact them. Like, hey, do you want this? Don't look on eBay
I
to
had
see
to
how
start
much
the
it's worth.
investigation.
Yeah.
I had to start the investigation now to see between my
First,
friends who own that game.
first scan every piece before you give it back. That's awesome. I mean, it's awesome that you have it. It's not awesome if they lost it. It's like, oh, you have my game all these years. Well, I mean, I bought a copy of Hero Quest some years ago when I was still in school, and I left it with one of my friends. And I kind of just thought, well, I just bought it to play at school. Like this was just an extra copy, and I never really cared. But then he contacted me. Is like, I still got your game. When do you want it back? And he's like, we can keep it. And he's like, I don't play it. Like, okay, well, I guess I got another copy of Hero Quest now. So I met up with him, and we hung out, and it's like, here's your game back. So I guess I've got it to gift to somebody or keep it. No, I'm not gonna have a giveaway on the stream. I'll probably just gift it to a family member or just have a backup copy, I guess. GeekOn Getty says, sound is crisp, especially with Bohemius and other guests. Oh, am I not crisp? Is that what you're trying to say? No, I'm glad it's good. Hispazargon says, yeah, spawnlings were made of cardboard probably because there were too many to be made of plastic, no room on the box, and they're easier to be stacked over hero cards. Yeah, the problem is the heroes forget that they have them. That's why I put all those graphics on the screen. Because at Gen Con, we would forget. Like, normally in the game, you never look at the hero card after the quest starts. I mean, you just look at, okay, I've got 8 body points. Okay, yeah, okay. And you forget about it. But you've got a stack of spawnling tiles, and it's like, okay, it's your turn. All right. Oh, and you're dead. Why? Because the spawnlings just killed you. They've been killing you this whole time. Oh, shoot. Because the other heroes was like, no, get him off me, get him off me. Yeah, if you had some kind of little plastic thing that like perched on top of the miniature, but then you got the problem of designing it so that, the little spider attaches to the barbarian and the dwarf and the elf and everything. And stacking the tiles underneath the miniature doesn't work because it's basically hidden. So you're like, what am I standing on? Is that a skull tile? Is it a trap? What is it? So you put it on the hero tile, the hero card. That makes sense. I guess there was one other quest that did that. Against the Ogre Horde does that. I mean,
you could put it on
spoilers.
your character sheet too, but
Yeah.
you're only looking at that when you're looking for a certain potion or, tracking your health.
Yeah. Oh, I got potion of healing. I got a battle axe and a spawnling killing me. What? So Zargon has to know about it. The hero has to know about it. The other heroes need to know about it because they're trying to protect you. So yeah, if the spawnling was a standee, that's an idea. Like the standee would just be next to the hero, like
Yeah.
Spider
Test now. Take a piece of plastic from First Light.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't want to dig it
One
up.
of the door or
People
one
are
of the
convincing me.
standees.
Yeah, well,
No.
yeah, those door standees, the door
Mhm.
bases, the plastic bases, transparent, could be used. Couple more comments. Yeah, so that's an idea. That's an idea. Use the Jungles of Deltarune spawnlings with the stands.
Yeah, but mostly until now we keep track of continuous effect like spells, like with a token close to the
That's true.
hero.
Yeah.
Is the easiest part
I don't have
because there's people also that keep keeping it on the cards, those spells. But
That's true.
it's more easy if everything is
Well,
visible directly on the table.
for persistent spells, like for rock skin, I've been using like a fallen block tile next to the character, underneath the character, to help me remember. But like courage, I don't put like a fire token next to. That'd be kind of cool. Fire token next to the courage hero. I know Avalon Hill's saying it only lasts for one attack, but I don't play that way. I like it persisting, just like second edition.
Yeah, but you got sleep, you got my control, you got many other persistent stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
So
Persistent spells. Well, if we're playing around the table, like you cast courage, you're gonna remember that you got it. Or you cast the guy, like don't forget you've got courage. Don't forget to roll your extra dice.
And that's another thing is I Like if I was the wizard and I cast it on a barbarian, I would literally put the rock skin or the courage
Rock
on the
skin, yeah.
barbarian's
Oh, the
character
card.
sheet, so
Yeah,
that they add it. Yeah, so they add it together when they're
that's
figuring
true.
out what weapon they're using and what their attack is.
Yeah, and sometimes when we've been playing, I've simulated that by like tapping the card to the side, 90 degrees, and putting it on the table. But I don't always remember to do that. Just verbally
Right, but
remind.
this way it's out of the wizard's like spell, so it shows that it's used up, but it's still in play because it's still on the table.
Right, yeah. Because usually we just flip the card over when you've used it up. But that's what they say to do with the monk styles is you turn it to the side to show that it's used. But that sort of makes you think, yeah, used up. Well, you can flip it over, but then you've got the other. Yeah, it's just
Yeah, they're
whatever
double-sided cards.
helps you
So yeah,
remember.
those ones you have to turn to the side.
Yeah, or put it underneath your hero card so it's out of view. Where'd it go? Oh, it's in the pile. It's discarded. A couple more comments. Hispazargon says, in Spain, we have a cheap proxy of Space Crusade titled Space Go. Space Go. Similar strategy they followed with Hero Cults. Hero Cults was released 1 year before Space Go. Interesting, because I've never heard of either of those. But if it's something that's only in Spain, so Space Go is
But,
Space Crusade. Hero
but
Cult.
it's worth it. It's worth it. Search for a hero cult and just watch the cover. It's
Okay.
really worth it.
Okay. Well, I do know that there was that kind of pathetic attempt to bring Space Crusade back, but like they were all like anime bikini girls instead of Space Marines. I was like, what?
Well, the Space Go is new for me too, so
Space Go.
I
Okay.
know
This is
the
not
Space
that.
cults.
Well, in Battle Masters, they're calling it Battle Monsters with like Godzilla and stuff. Weird. And it's like not even the Toho Godzilla. So I appreciate you guys telling me about this stuff because I wouldn't know. Oh, and the Stephen Baker game that's been in development for a while, Where Heroes Dare, people are saying that that's disappeared. They wonder if it's canceled. Like the website is gone.
Mm.
The only thing I could think of for that is if maybe there was some legal issue, because I thought there was another game already called Where Heroes Dare. Maybe there was some issue with the IP. Or maybe Stephen Baker's plans changed. I mean, I know he's a freelance designer. I mean, the guy's basically retired, but he does stuff for Avalon Hill sometimes. But what about his side projects? I mean, they were working with Dwarven Forge. It sounded like it was going to be a pretty ambitious indie game, but maybe with ideas that from back in the day, that could have been in HeroQuest, but never saw the light of day. So I don't know about that. I don't know if it's really gone or if it's just maybe their website was down or something like that. So I guess if we learn anything about that, maybe I'll have to explore that stuff and do an episode about it in the future. Well, guys, we've chatted for quite a while here. We're getting almost to 4 o'clock. Do you guys still want to do a quest, or? I mean, it's up to you. Stephen Baker. Oh, this is Hispazargon again. Stephen Baker games sounded rare. The website just showed terrain, scenario pieces, but not many board games. Yeah, I don't know how far along in development it was. I mean, I'm sure just like with movies, there's a lot of games that get started and never actually come out. I mean, thankfully they didn't have like people donating money or anything. There was no pre-orders. It was just, oh, here's something that might come out in the future. Geek on Giddy says, okay, last comment, and I'll let you guys jump in. Geek on Giddy says, I see Ravensburger is releasing a new edition of Labyrinth Chronicles that has HeroQuest influence. Interesting. So he's linked to GameFound.com. Yeah, I'll have to cover that. I'll have to explore that. I've seen a lot of
I saw
Labyrinth
that.
spin-offs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I saw that with the Minotaur. I think he's Labyrinth with the Minotaur, if I'm not.
Is that that's there's the classic Labyrinth game, the Amazing Labyrinth,
Mm-hmm.
where you've just got the colored
Yes.
pawns, and then you've got the cards, and then you've got like the tile like pushes along the board and it pushes the thing out, and you're trying to basically defeat your friends by getting the stuff first. I haven't played it in years. I want to say somebody got it as a gift when I was a kid, and we played it once, maybe twice, and then it just kind of went in storage. And we're missing one of the pawns, the red pawn. The problem is it looks like it belongs in some other game, like it's a Tinker Toy or something. It doesn't have anything on it that tells you this goes with Labyrinth. It's just a pawn. So I guess any game piece could suffice. But when I go to stores, they have like is it Pokemon or Digimon or something? They have some like branded character spinoff. You can't buy the regular Labyrinth. Anyway, I just thought of that. It's an evolution of that which you describe. Yeah. A HeroQuest themed Labyrinth would be cool. What if that's the crossover? Oh man.
Labyrinth was one of our favorite game to play
Cool.
in the family.
I should try it. I know it's my parents have it at their house. Next time we have a family get together, I should dust it off, see what we can do with it.
I got the first edition, and it's very old.
Yeah, well, the one we have, I think, is from the 80s, so it might be. His Bizargon says, "Have a good HeroQuest gaming session, guys. The most balanced and best dungeon crawler ever made." Well, it's certainly the most nostalgic. I can't say I've played a lot of other dungeon crawlers. Yeah, it's not the first, but it might be the best. Most beloved. It certainly has a lot of flexibility. And you can still buy it. Alright, should we begin the new quest? Ah, Glasgow's here. We've been chatting for all this time. You haven't missed anything.
Hey guys, how we doing? All right?
Yeah.
Yep. Think we're ready to go
let's
save
go.
some plant creatures.
Well, I hate to say it. That's not going to be this weekend. That'll be next weekend.
Oh, what?
Ogres.
Oh yes. All right.
You bring
wrong
your
page.
ogre slaying knife
Hold
plus
on.
9 against ogres.
Hold on, I had wrong dwarf.
Ah, that's what's been happening. Time travel dwarf.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Against the ogre horde dwarf.
Yeah. I tried to keep the schedule updated. I hope nobody got confused. I guess I confused Jacer. Sorry.
I was confused.
I don't remember. Did we complete the first mission inside the fortress or not?
Yep, you sure did. Well, we got to talking at the end, just like we did today. We got to talking. Thanks, Espazargon. I appreciate you contributing to the conversation. You always have cool stuff to say. Thanks, everybody else. Geek on Giddy. Stulida Passenbrot is here also.
Yeah,
A bunch of people in the chat.
just a very little thing before we
Oh, yeah.
move.
A
I
few
follow.
hours later. Just kidding.
I follow the Spazargon and the Cristobal recently, and they talk with the problem they had in Spain for the distribution of the game, and they answer to them from Hasbro, and they say that they are restructuring and they're going to assign personnel extra for this kind of
Really?
issues for all the. But it is yes. I totally forgot to talk about it last week. But
Dang.
yeah.
That's big news.
Hmm.
Shoot. I got to update everything. Well, thanks for letting me know. Yeah,
yeah, but they're restructuring. You can see in the message that I think he explained it there or in a live because I watched the live. Now I don't remember exactly, but you can ask Espazargon. Maybe he knows more.
Okay. Well, I'll have to see that. I don't know if Hispazargon's still here, but if he posted that in HeroQuest Fans Discord or if there's a link. Yeah, LaGuardia di Morcar Cristobal on YouTube has a lot of cool stuff, but I missed some of the things because I have to wait for the translation and then actually watch it with reading the stuff because I don't speak Spanish. Just like with the HeroQuest Italia or Dungeon Master with their languages, it's a little less accessible. And I mean, it's not their fault, obviously, but yeah, sometimes stuff happens in these other realms. But if so, that's great news. That's really exciting. If there's more people working with them, I mean, maybe that's a sign that they're taking it more seriously, and they can, tell us, hey, the Spanish fans are not going to get the short end, as we say. Actually, be treated like full members of the global HeroQuest community. Oh, he is here. Great. Okay, Hispazargon responds, I'm in conversations with Cristobal. However, not much info than that available yet. Nevertheless, Cristobal has plans to upload a video on his channel soon explaining what he's able to investigate. Great. I can't wait. I will definitely check out his channel on YouTube to see what he says. I mean, he's an entertaining guy to watch anyway, but especially if there's positive change in that arena. HeroQuest in Glaswegian is a particularly challenging dialect. I'm afraid to respond to that. Should I say anything, Glasgow? No, should not.
Oh, go on. I've got a thick skin.
I remember the British teeth incident. I think I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah, that's English teeth you're talking about.
Oh yes, of course. Oh man.
We've got perfectly straight pearly whites here.
Yep. Yeah, if you go back, there's old sketches where Mike Myers is, who is Canadian, by the way, where they're making fun of, people's teeth. But that was a different time period. I mean, as we've went over, there's plenty of things you can say about Americans to make fun of us. Us Scots are made of.
Can't think of anything at all to say disparaging about the Americans.
Yeah, that's right. Not on my watch. No, we'll get along. It's a little United Nations right here. Maybe that's a bad example. They fight a lot. Just fans. Okay. Oh, Hispazargon has another comment here. He says, before leaving, I would like to confirm Jace that nothing about the expansion he knows has been canceled. Hopefully I'll be able to release it soon, and he will be advised properly. Okay. Take it you know what he's talking about. Major Asnable says, hey, welcome. We haven't started our quest yet, believe it or not. We've just been catching up and talking about some various new developments in the world of HeroQuest. So I guess, potentially good news for HeroQuest fans in Spain. Good news for people who are on the Avalon Hill Discord. Maybe positive changes or continuations of things in the realm of HeroQuest in stores. Ribby! Awesome. Let's go! Okay, he's anxious to get going. Monsters are starting to build up here. Okay, and I think Geek Gone Giddy will save your uncommon feat for the next Jungle to Delthrax stream, which won't be this Saturday, but next week. We'll definitely keep that in mind. Chin music. All right, thanks, Hispazargon. Appreciate it.